Welcome to Zoo Babies, where we take off on a worldwide tour of all the wet, wild and woolly new animals in captivity. First up on Zoo Babies, we check in on two female green sea turtles. These turtles have been resting at Sydney Zoo and Aquarium after being found washed up on a beach. Now, after much rest and care, they're ready to be released into the wild. The turtles have been exercising in deep rehabilitation tanks with heated water until they were fit and well enough to swim properly.
No, I think they'll be back home. I think as soon as they hit that water, they'll realise that they're back in the wild. Their natural instincts will kick in and they'll be away. We probably won't see much of them. They'll probably do a few flipper kicks and they'll be out of our view. So I'm sure they're looking forward to it as much as we are.
Green turtles are found in tropical and subtropical waters across the globe, but many suffer a great deal of stress. Suitable nesting sites are decreasing because of building work on many of the beaches where turtles go to lay eggs in Australia. Caretakers at the Sydney Zoo say they hope the release of the turtles will give the species a small but essential boost. Green turtles have a beaked head and paddle-like arms, which are great for swimming. The divers and caretakers at the zoo released the first turtle into the ocean. It should make its way underwater and start looking for food. Sea turtle flippers are highly evolved. Some species of them can even climb rocky shores with their adapted flippers, which help protect them from predators. Two 2-year-old male koalas named Teddy and Freddie are a long way from their native Australia. They've become the first two koalas ever to arrive in Scandinavia. And they'll be spending the summer at the Stockholm Zoo in Sweden in their specially built enclosure before going home to the San Diego Zoo. The koalas have gained almost 2 kilos since arriving, and the keepers have been surprised that they've gained weight so quickly after a stressful journey. But in a new environment, koalas sleep less, which gives them more time to chew on eucalyptus leaves, their sole diet. The cuddly tree-dwelling animals, a symbol of Australia, eat only fresh eucalyptus leaves that are flown in direct from their home country, which is quite an expensive operation. The costs involved with keeping koalas is often the reason they're not seen in more zoos around the world. It will cost Skansen Zoo just over $1,000 a week to feed Teddy and Freddie. San Diego Zoo boasts the largest population of koalas outside of Australia, with about 30 of the animals in the zoo itself and another 70 on loan to other zoos across the world.
I hope they understand how magnificent it is to see them like this, two young boys in this beautiful exhibit, and I hope they enjoy it as much as we do here, because they are beautiful and they are the model for the teddy bear we have.
Koalas get their name from the ancient Aboriginal word meaning no drink. This is because they get almost 90% of their water from the eucalyptus leaves they eat. Now let's say hello to this 2-week-old baby sea otter, who's mesmerizing visitors at an aquarium in Japan's Wakayama prefecture. Hundreds of visitors gather round the tank every day to see the pup floating. It still hasn't learned how to swim. Flora, the mother, has been dedicating most of her time and energy to feeding and grooming her beloved baby. Sea otter pups are typically born in the water in North America. After a few weeks, this young sea otter will be able to swim and dive just like its mother. It will also be able to groom itself and eat solid foods. For now, it rests on top of the water and watches its mother show off her diving skills. Sea otters have closable nostrils and ears with flaps. The baby is so cute. As a mother of 2 children, she reminds me of how hard it was when they were young. Moving their heads from side to side is how otters say hello. She is always with her baby, even while eating. And she keeps grooming the baby's fur whenever it gets rough. I think there are a lot of things we can learn from her. The babies cling to their mothers or other sea otters when they're afraid. Otters also make different sounds, and a baby sea otter will cry when it's left alone. They'll often whistle or whine when upset or frustrated. Over in Australia, rare Sumatran tiger cubs make their debut. The cubs live in an enclosure called Tiger Island at the theme park called Dreamworld. Two keepers feed the pair with bottles of milk while their mother rests. According to the tiger's keepers, the cubs passed their weigh-in and health check with flying colours. The keepers explain that they are spending a great deal of time getting to know the cubs to help them adjust to life in captivity. Many see captive breeding as critical to the survival of the tigers, because less than 400 Sumatran tigers are thought to be left in the wild, making them one of the most critically endangered species on Earth.
These two little girls, which are not named yet, but they will be, are 18 days old, and they are doing phenomenally well. Currently, right now, they're just a little under 3 kilos, and they're gaining on average about 40 to maybe 60 grams a day.
People visiting Tiger Island say they just can't get enough of the cubs.
Oh my gosh, they are so adorable, and you never get to see. I've never seen tiger cubs up close. Definitely not. And so gorgeous.
When the tiger cubs grow up, the zoo will feed them a diet of fish, meat and poultry. For now, they're well fed on mum's milk and enjoying their afternoon nap. It's not just humans that can get married, giraffes can too. 1 month of dating was enough to seal the romance of giraffe Sky Kisser and Sagallo, whose special day was celebrated by visitors and staff at a Rio de Janeiro zoo. But the wedding has not yet been consummated. Despite a mating ritual led by a small group of Brazilian Indians in the zoo, Sagallo, who originally belonged to a Sao Paulo zoo, was taken to Rio 1 month before the wedding to meet his future wife. But during their dating period, the tall couple was kept separate, and eye contact was all they had. The giraffes were kept separate for around 1 month. This was the period we considered necessary so that they didn't reject each other. Giraffes are placed in separate wards in case they don't like the look of each other before they mate. Mesquita also says that if everything goes well, the zoo may receive a new member in 14 months from now. To celebrate the wedding, the zoo was decorated with white ribbons and a wedding cake was shared out. Have you ever heard of an iguana? Well, over in Mexico, the iguana is a very common species of lizard, native to tropical areas of Central and South America, as well as the Caribbean. Iguanas have a row of spines running down their back to the tail and a third eye on their head. This means they have great eyesight and are able to see shapes, shadows, colour and movement at long distances. Iguanas use their eyes to find their way through crowded forests, as well as for finding food. They also use visual signals to communicate with members of the same species. They respond to visual stimuli of colours, such as orange and yellow food substances. An iguana breeding centre in the Zapotec region was formed 8 years ago in order to protect the species, and now it houses more than 1,300 iguanas. The centre offers talks to create awareness among people in order to help preserve the species in the wild. Visitors are pouring into Maitribar Zoo at Bhilai in India to see another scaly creature. A python that is about to become a mother. The 6-foot-long python was rescued by the zoo authorities from Angora village, where it was found hanging on a tree. Zoo authorities brought it to the zoo and started taking care of it, where it laid eggs, leaving everyone astonished. As the news spread, visitors started coming to the zoo to see the eggs for themselves. I came here to see the eggs laid by this python. I had never seen the eggs of any snake. It's the first time in my life. Giraffes and zebras might be ordinary animals in most zoos around the world, but for the Dhaka Zoo in Bangladesh, they are new and special attractions. Many Bangladeshis are seeing some of these animals for the very first time. The zoo received its first group of foreign animals recently, and the response from visitors has been overwhelming. Most of the new creatures were brought in from South Africa and include different types of antelope, wildebeest, giraffes and zebras. They've been expected for a while, and zoo authorities wanted to see some foreign animals in the zoo. We've brought some 27 animals of 7 species from South Africa, such as giraffes and antelope. The group will be under supervision by South African animal experts for the next few weeks, until they've got used to their new surroundings. The new animals have become such a hit that some locals who visit the zoo have been here twice a day. Bangladesh is one of the poorest countries in the world, and so it's a real honor for the children and adults to watch the animals and learn about them. These people are watching black wildebeest, which are a type of antelope. They're native to Africa and love eating grass. They can live for more than 20 years and spend most of their time grazing in the fields. This is not my first time. I came here earlier today as well. Today I am here as I read in the newspapers that some new animals arrived in the zoo. Zoo officials hope these big-eared animals keep attracting the crowds. What do you think animals do in the zoo when it's hot outside? Well, in the zoo in Rome, animals get treated to cold showers and fruit lollipops to cope with the heat. During the summertime in Italy, temperatures can soar very high, and it's important to keep the animals cool, just as it is for humans to keep out of the sun. These monkeys like sucking on their fruit lollipops, and their mums will look after the babies by sharing the fruit with everybody. Summer heat has taken hold of Italy, with temperatures reaching 40 degrees in many cities. The Japanese macaque or snow monkey comes from the mountainous regions of northern Japan. It can survive temperatures as low as minus 15 degrees, but it does have a few problems dealing with the heat.
As I said before, to feed them we are trying to give some frozen food items like the food that we are giving, and of course the diet during the summertime, it's for all animals here, it's lighter because the energy need is a little bit less. So we are trying to provide lighter diet to most of the animals, and again trying to help them pass this season.
Throughout the hot summer, keepers make sure all the animals have access to the frozen goodies and a constant supply of fresh water. For the brown bears, what could be better than having massive fruit ice blocks thrown at them whilst lounging in the pool to help them deal with the midday heat? And as a special treat, fish lollipops go down really well. The bears love nothing better than munching on their frozen fish. They have a great sense of smell. They're excellent swimmers and climbers. Bears are found in the continents of North America, South America, Europe and Asia. Meanwhile, these Asian elephants are happy getting dirty in this muddy pond. Over in Tokyo, these polar bears are getting treated to some giant ice cubes to help them deal with the summer heat. Polar bears are used to Arctic weather, which means ice-cold temperatures. So zookeepers came up with the ice cube idea with fruit and other treats frozen inside. With their sharp teeth and powerful jaws, the polar bears were quick to get into the chilled snacks. As people looked on, the two bears pushed around the blocks weighing 70 kilograms each and playing with them before dropping them into the pond. The big polar bear jumped right into the water to continue playing with his ice block. The children were very excited to see the polar bear cooling down. They must feel so good. I wish they'd given them more ice. It doesn't seem to be enough for them in this hot weather. In the wild, polar bears spend much of their time moving across snow, ice and open water and hunting seals, which make up most of their diet. Zoo officials say the event gives the bears a break from the hot summer. We just wanted to give the bears a short break from the heat by giving them a cool, fun thing. We hope they're enjoying it. Three tiger cubs from one of the world's rarest species were shown to the public at a South Korean zoo recently. These Siberian tiger cubs have no names yet, but they're the third generation of the Tongil tiger, meaning tiger for unification. The two male cubs, now weighing 6 kilos each, and one female cub weighing 5 kilos, were born to 9-year-old Shungju and her mate, 5-year-old Koa. Since the tigress did not care for her cubs right after the birth for unknown reasons, the breeders at the zoo had to look after and feed them from the very beginning. Visitors to the zoo were queuing up to get a glimpse of these newborn tiger cubs. I hope I can see many of these tigers in South Korea. The Siberian tiger is native to northern China, southern Russia, and parts of North Korea. Wave hello to Volker, the baby sea lion who recently made his first public appearance at Berlin Zoo. At nearly 2 months old, baby Volker was a little camera shy as his fellow sea lions took to the stage for feeding. Volker was more hesitant, preferring to stay under the water away from prying eyes. Zoo curator Heinrich Klose said Volker is the first sea lion to be born and reared in the Berlin Zoo since 1933. The seal enclosure at the zoo was renovated in 2002 and is made up of sea lions from different European zoos. 6-year-old Lucy gave birth to Volker, and the proud father is 8-year-old Enzo. Volker is our baby sea lion who was born here in Berlin in June. He's the first baby sea lion to grow up in this enclosure and the only one to be born and brought up in the Berlin Zoo for a long, long time. Volker was named after one of the seal trainers at Dortmund Zoo who gave the Berlin Zoo lots of advice on how to rear young seal pups. Now that we have our modern enclosure, we can keep young animals in the group, which keeps the animals really healthy. And it seems that the babies are also well looked after by their mothers. Berlin Zoo is no stranger to dealing with young starlets. The zoo is also home to Germany's favourite polar bear, Knut. After making his first public appearance in 2007, Knut Mania spawned a CD, book and hour-long queues. For baby Volker, this may well be a sign of things to come. Welcome to a stone zoo. That's right. This zoo in Guantanamo, Cuba, is full of stone animals. This is a unique sculpture garden designed by an artist called Angel Inigo Blanco Jr., who creates life-size sculptures of animals by carving them out of stone. Can you guess what these animals are? Angel says there was lots of stone in this location, which is why he chose it. And it's been ideal to design and make his animals. His first sculpture was of a lion, and now his works have grown to a massive 426. And they're all designed to make people think that they're looking at real animals. Except, of course, these ones don't move or make noises. Angel is a self-taught sculptor and has followed his father into the profession. He spends his days happily working in the stone zoo and often draws his inspiration from seeing real-life animals at zoos in Buenos Aires. He's currently working on a model of a donkey herder on a horse. It was Christmas come early for one East German zoo as the keepers proudly presented their latest additions, a pair of twin Jaguar cubs and a set of triplets. The 5 cubs shared the same father Mescal and were born a week apart. A black-coloured Jaguar Molly gave birth to the twins, and Gilda had the triplets soon after. While their older siblings acquaint themselves with life at the zoo, the young triplets are still too young for human contact and are being kept inside their enclosure under the watchful eye of their mother. The zookeepers are very excited. We have now twins and triplets, and all of this within just a few days. The father Mescal is really proud, I think, but he's not allowed to see the mothers of the cubs just yet. None of the cubs have yet been named. These spotted cats resemble the leopard physically, although they will grow up to be larger and of a sturdier build, and their behavior is closer to that of a tiger. A group of children visiting the zoo enjoyed greeting the new arrivals. I've never seen such small, cute and cuddly cubs before. They're so cute. And who could disagree? Join us next time on Zoo Babies for lots more chicks, calves and cubs.